Hello and welcome to the Kanawha Valley Hustlers. This is Joe Justice. I'm at Up Next Charlie West's first Tuesdays, and we're getting into summertime. Things are getting hot. We're having a great time here. But I want to talk about, I'm here with Sam, and I want to talk about productivity. I want to talk about getting things done. I've really been on that jag here lately. So first and foremost, Sam, tell me a little bit about what you do.
I'm an environmental scientist and environmental project manager with the Thrasher Group up here in Charleston.
Now, are you technically an engineer?
I am not an engineer. I'm an environmental scientist. I don't have my professional engineer's license.
Okay, so you're a scientist.
I am a scientist.
Okay, so productivity is a big deal to scientists, right?
It is. Yes, it is. We follow the scientific method.
Right. Well, and the scientific method, you know, a lot of people like to skip the steps. So there's a bunch of steps to the scientific method, right?
There is. Yes, there are.
Tell me a little bit about what you do at Thrasher. What's your kind of your day-to-day like?
Again, being a project manager, dealing with clients, dealing with environmental issues, permitting, wetlands and stream issues, and primarily I deal a lot with hazardous materials issues and brownfield redevelopment. That's
great. So I want to ask you a little bit about productivity. What is it? What does productivity mean to you?
Productivity, really, the basic aspect of that is getting stuff done. I mean, that's really what it boils down to.
And I want to ask you just a couple questions. There's no yes or no or right or wrong. Just a couple, how you think about things. How do you think, what is the difference between work and productivity, working and being productive?
Being a project manager, and I have a staff that works with me, and they're a great staff. Being able to delegate, being able to assign different tasks to people that are within their capabilities and their forte. Being efficient is another aspect of that. Being in consulting, time is money. So we have to be efficient and we have to be effective in what we do.
And what's the difference, do you think, between being busy and being productive?
Being busy is not always productive. So yes, being productive is the key to it. Being efficient at what we do, being able to do things in an efficient manner, not only time-wise, but cost-wise. I mean, again, for a client, time is money.
Yeah, absolutely. That's absolutely true. So when it comes to long-term goals, because I know environmental science, you've got to have long-term projections, right? So what kind of advice do you give to people that, you know, they might have that long-term goal. They might have that thing that they want to have done in 3 years or 5 years, even 10 years. What do they do now? What do they do today to start making progress on those goals?
That's great, because environmental issues are usually a long-term issue. Permitting is not something that happens overnight. Dealing with environmental conditions such as brownfields that might have environmental contamination that needs to be remediated is not a quick process. So just having the foresight to be ahead of the game, thinking forward, and basically being able to put your priorities in order, but also realize that things take time to accomplish. So basically, you know, taking your time to understand those time frames and planning ahead to be able to accomplish them.
Great. That's so good. And just tell me a little bit, if you could, anything to wrap up, any thoughts, things people should know about environmental science or anything else that we talked about. Is there anything you'd like to leave our audience with today?
Environmental science is a conglomeration of several different sciences: physics, geology, engineering, biology, and chemistry. Those are the 5 roots of environmental science. So that's what I try to tell kids as I'm teaching different things and scouts. But being good in all of them is usually a rarity, but we have to wear many hats in environmental science. So you'd be as good as you can in as many of those things as you can. And don't be afraid to learn new things. So that's what I would probably tell folks, is don't be afraid to learn new things and embrace those challenges and those changes, because this environment, it's always a changing environment. So embrace change.
You know, that brings another question to mind. What do you, when it comes to being productive, how do you get other people to get on board with you? If you have an idea and you want to get things done, you can't do it all by yourself. So what advice do you give to people when it comes to getting other people to join in with you?
That's a great question. And environmental science is always a challenge. I always encourage folks to share their ideas. I don't know everything, and I encourage folks to share their thoughts and their thought processes with me. I'm a thought person, and I'd like to throw ideas out there. I might have 100 different ideas, but only one of them's a really good one to move forward. So I encourage everybody else to share their ideas, because the same thing. They may have 100 different thoughts, but maybe only one or two of them is a good one to move forward with. But if you don't go through the 99, you're never going to get to that 100th one that's the great idea. So share your thoughts.
Awesome. Great. Thank you so much. Thank you for being on with us today. And thank you for listening or watching. Be sure to like and follow. Share this with somebody that needs some productivity tips. And this is Joe Justice, the Kanawha Valley Hustler, reminding you to hustle hard, hustle smart, and hustle with a smile.